Today we will study about force platform, understanding the technology and its application. This is the first image which you have seen. This is a force plate and you can see the sensors which are being applied. EMG sensors on the muscles as well as anatomical sensors are there, which records the various forces which are acting on various points, anatomical points, and it helps us to analyze the posture as well as the gait. These are the two force plates and it will measure the kind of forces which are acting on the foot, and this you have seen in the practical class itself. Now let us study what is force platform or a force plate. It basically helps us to measure the forces and movement exerted by the body on a force platform. Okay, it is the weight which the body gives. It measures the weight of the body as well as the movement acting on the body by the body on the force platform. It measures the forces in 3 dimensions, that is the vertical, the horizontal and the lateral, and the movement torques, that is the movement around the joint about the 3 axes. Now what are the movement torques? That is whether the reaction force is acting on the joint axis, away from the joint axis, in anterior to the joint axis, posterior to the joint axis, this all. Now what is a force plate? Force plate, if we see, it is a rectangular square shaped structure, and it is designed for the to be robust, to withstand strong loads, and the surface of it is a non-slip material, so that any individual who is it should be a stable footing for the individual while he is testing. He's been tested on it. So this is a rectangular plates are there. Now behind these rectangular plates there are sensors. There is a top plate, there is a bottom plate, and in between are the sensors. I want to show it in the finger. Top plate, the base plate, and in between are the sensors. Like there are the pillars of strain gauge are there. Pillars, they are all segregated in the form of a grid like structure. These are pillars in between the top plate and the base plate, which will tell you about the load, how the deformation of the load taking place, and they record all. They are the basically sensors. They record this deformation and then they give it to the computer for analysis. So they are this pillars are strain gauge. So these pillars can be, sensors can be a piezoelectric sensor, a strain gauge sensor, or a capacitive sensor. Now what does a piezoelectric sensor mean? A piezoelectric sensor is it basically, as soon as the load is put on this top plate, the electric current is being produced because of the piezoelectric effect, and this has been recognized by the sensors and sent to the data interface. Or in a strain gauge center is the kind of deformation which takes place when the force is applied on the force plate. The deformation which takes place is noted by these strain gauges sensors and then given to the computer. And in capacitive sensors, it gives you the resistance which it gets. When the load is applied, it gets a resistance. This capacitive resistance is noted by these sensors which are embedded inside, and these sensors then they send these through the cables. This is in the form of a grid. It is totally applied in the form of grid on the surface, and then these all are being captured at multiple points and through connection ports. Now what are these connection ports? That is data cables which connect these force plate to the computer or any system, which can be in the form of your phone, which can be there on any display board, can be there anything, or a computer can be there system. And what does it display? It will give you the forces which are acting. It measures all these forces, and it gives you a real time feedback. When the person is standing, it will give you that feedback, whether the weight is proper or not, whether what kind of forces are acting on it, whether you are standing with a balance support or not, whether the gait is deviated or not. It gives you a real time feedback. Fine. So this is basically, these sensors are basically sensing the deformation. This deformation force is sent and captured by each and every sensors, because there are a grid of sensors which are laying down, and these grid of sensors, the collective response is taken and through the connecting tables, and it is sent to, the data is collected and sent to the computer and the data acquisition systems, whichever is there, and then it is given, it is analyzed, it is graphically shown in a software where it's called as a MATLAB software. What is mathematical and computerization software is there which analyzes this data, use statistical analysis, and then graphically show this data and tell you the real time feedback. That is through the form of force time graph or in the form of graphicals representation it is given, so that we can understand and interpret these data and use it to our requirement, whether to correct balance for a proprioceptive or for any requirement. Fine. So this is, you can see for yourself, this is the top plate, this is the bottom plate, and in between there is a strain gauge. Then there is a load cell, we said it as a load cell, and you can see the applied forces. One is the vertical applied force and down is the ground reaction force which is acting on the cell, so that as soon as the weight is applied, these two vertical forces act on it. Fine. So it tells you about these forces. This image is basically for this, so that you can understand the vertical set of forces acting. Now what does it measure? It measures the vertical set of forces, that is upward and downward forces which are acting on the body, that is the weight of the body as well as the ground reaction force. It also helps us in understanding how weight is distributed and how much force is applied during activities like walking, running, jumping. Now distribution of weight on both this foot is determined by the vertical forces, and how the weight is distributed, whether it is on the heel, whether it is on the toes, whether it is on the base of the first toe, it is all measured over with the help of vertical forces. Now there is, these forces are continuous vertical forces. So what is vertical forces is when the foot is there on the ground, what happens is there is a continuous vertical forces are acting at the point of contact. So it is very difficult for us to communicate or to commute one point. So what we do is we find a common point that is called a center of pressure, and then you try to calculate the forces acting on it. There are a set of horizontal forces also which apply, which are said to be anterior, posterior and mediolateral forces. Now what are anterior, posterior and mediolateral forces is, when we stand on the ground on the force plate, we basically with eyes closed, what happens is we either swing from our weight shifts from the toes to the heels, or we move from the medial side of the foot to the lateral side of the foot, and this is a normal reaction, and these forces are being calculated by the force plate and then shown over here and analyzed, and it tells us whether we are standing in a balanced way or not, whether our gait is proper or not, whether our propulsion is proper or not. Now it also tells us about, now like this, it tells us about vertical force, it tells us about horizontal forces, it also tells us about movement forces. Now what is a movement force? It's a rotational movement of the body or the body segment which takes place. Now when which is required for balancing our body. Now this rotational forces is can be calculated when the ground reaction forces, whether it is acting on the joint, it is passing through the joint, or it is passing, the line of gravity is passing anterior to the joint or posterior to the joint, and the movement, the body segment will move, whether it will move in flexion or extension. These all are calculated through the movement and torque. So you understand what are the vertical forces. It can be a body weight and the ground reaction force, the center of pressure, and then the horizontal forces is the anterior to posterior deviations or postural sway, and medial to lateral postural sway, which is very much important for us to have a balance position, and it is very important in cases of gait also, whether this sway is more in gait or not, or whether there is a forward propulsion or backward propulsion during the gait. It is all calculated by the horizontal forces. And then there is a movements, that is torque, which is applied. This torque is basically tells us whether the flexion torque is there or extension torque is there, which can be calculated when whether the ground reaction force is moving and anterior to the joint axis or posterior to the joint axis, and what kind of a muscle contraction takes place. If we add to this an EMG sensor, it will also tell us the kind of muscle contraction which is there, what kind of a muscle contraction is required over there. Fine. These other than these forces, now there is a force time curve also. Now there is a ground reaction force, there is a center of pressure. What do we see when these forces are analyzed by the computer? We see a force curve, force time curve. Force is calculated in the form of newtons, and time is calculated in the form of seconds. ठीक है, and it is displayed to us as a force time curve, that is amount of force required by the muscle to produce that movement in a given time. That is calculated by this MATLAB softwares and given to us and displayed to us, which is a real time display, and it tells us about how we can correct our balance, how we can improve our gait, and how we can decrease the decrease the amount of effort required or the muscle efficiency. Now here you can see the figure where you can see the weight distribution in the foot, the vertical, the AP axis and the mediolateral axis, the vertical and the downward movement, and the distribution of weight on the foot. This will give you an idea what kind of forces are acting on the body, and therein it gives you an idea where the force time, what is a force time curve? It is a graphical representation of the force exerted over time and providing us an insight into the dynamics of various movement. It gives you a dynamics of various movements. So it's a ground reaction force, the center of pressure, and the force time curves. These are basically used to analyze these our forces, and they help us to correct our posture, gait, and balance. Fine. The center of pressure is clear to you guys. Center of pressure is basically the moment we come in with our foot comes in contact with the force plate, the point which is in contact exerts a force downwards. These are all vertical forces, and on these vertical forces there will be a ground reaction force, and it was very difficult for us to commute the ground reaction force in each point. So what we do is we calculate the center of pressure, where is the maximum amount of force, and then we can calculate the other forces which are acting. That is the ground reaction force. For that matter, there is a word called center of pressure. It is one of the point where the total amount of vertical force is applied. That is why we say this is as the point where the total amount of vertical force is applied. And if we track the COP, it helps us to understand the balance and our postural control. To make you understand further about these forces, let us see these at the corners. You can see the Fx, Fy, Fz all are acting on the corners of this foot plate. There is another image which will tell you about how the distribution of forces can takes place on the force plate. There is a center of pressure. Can you see? These are all vertical forces, and this is the center of pressure where it is acting. You can also compute about the center of pressure in this force plate. Later on when you are doing your research, you can also calculate it yourself. This is an image how the calculation can take place. Now giving you a nutshell, the force plate setting has got a platform on which the person stands. They have a sensors which measures the vertical and horizontal forces and the movements, and then there is a data acquisition system. Now what we do before using a force plate, we calibrate the force plate. Now what is calibration? Calibration is, if I give you an example, when we stand on a weighing scale, before standing on the weighing scale, what we do is we basically correct the zero error. We basically see that our pointer marks towards the zero. That is, we check whether the machine which is telling us a right weight or not. So calibration is also needed over here to get an accurate measurement. Over here what we do is we apply a known weight and then check whether the weight is same or not, displayed same or not, and check for any kind of discrepancies. If it's saying 0.25 difference, we note it over there. We put a weight like of a dumbbell of 5 kg and then check whether it is showing us 5 kg or not. Then the next thing which we do is we ask the subject to stand on it, walk on it, jump on it, to provide a balance activity on it, and see and compare the data on this, and the forces are recorded and checked with the real or the recorded, the normal data which is there in the computer, which I try to check with that. And if the data which is coming is same, then the force plate is ready for the recording. Fine. So this is the minimum thing which we need to do is calibrate. Calibration is done with a known weight, then testing of the is done with on the plates in the form of standing, walking, and then it is also checking of these records. The data is then recorded and checking these records with the previous ones, so that we come to know about these whether the force plate is ready or not for the data collection. Otherwise there will be an error, and if there is an error, then there is no use of doing this. Fine. Now let us apply application of force plate can be for the gait analysis, for the balance and stability, it is for the sports sciences, and it is for the rehabilitation. For gait analysis is different kind of, that is kinetics of the gait cycle, forces acting on the gait cycle. Balanced and stability is it is for the balance tasks. Sports, it is to prevent injuries and improve our techniques, and rehabilitation is for the effectiveness of physical therapy interventions. We will be going in detail about each one of it one by one. Fine. So don't worry, this is just giving you an insight where we apply these. For the gait analysis, that is kinetics of gait, for the balance and stability, for in the sports, in order to prevent the injury, in order to prevent an injury and optimize the patient's or the sports athlete's performance, this and improve the techniques. So they are being applied. So because it gives you a real time feedback, so you can correct your techniques and see how effective it can be. Now force plate is used for, first thing is balance analysis. If you see this image, you see a person is standing on the force plate and there is a distribution of weight on the left and the right side, even distribution of weight is there, and then you can see how the weight, the center is also, the center of mass is there. Now this is another image where you see the ground reaction forces. Now see the ground reaction force in the left side as well as the right side. In the left side you see the green arrow is uneven. That means that the ground reaction force is not even for the right and the left foot. Whereas on the right image you see the ground reaction force is even. That means the weight is distributed well. So by looking at it only, we can correct and say the person that please take weight on both the feet. We need to take weight on both the feet so that the ground reaction force is the same. The ground reaction force is the same. Can you see all the three vertical x, y and z axis on which it has been calculated? Fine. So this is a combined effort which is required, and this is a combined ground reaction force which is acting until the time the person is not taking weight on both the sides. There is no balance standing is happening. So it can be done with eye open and eye closed. Now then when the eye is closed, we also go in for the postural sway. Now postural sway is, as soon as we close our eye, there is a normal data which takes place, or normal sway takes place from the toes to the heel and from the heel to the toes. It is also from the medial side of the foot to the lateral side of the foot, and the lateral side of the foot to the medial side of the foot. The normal data is from the heel to the toes is round about 10 to 14 degree is the sway, degree is the sway, or if I can say you, it is between 10 to 13 mm of distance should be there. Whereas from the medial to the lateral side, the distance is 8 to 9 degree, which is round about 8 to 10 mm of displacement can takes place. Now this is basically a traffic light which tells us whether the sway is normal or not. When the sway is normal, a green light will be reflected, which is normal for the sideways, front and back. But you can see the total sway area is more, which need to be checked. It is a yellow light which need to be taken care of. The left and right kind of distribution is even, but you can see back and front kind of displacement is more. Black and front kind of displacement is more, that is red kind of a light which need to be checked. I need to correct the person for the anterior and posterior kind of a postural sway. Now this postural sway, I can apply even EMG markers, and I can tell whether what kind of a strategy the person is using. Now if the postural sway is more, what will happen is the person will start using an ankle strategy or a hip strategy. Now in normal tendency we only use ankle strategy when we are going for a postural sway. When I move forward, that is on my toes, my body will try to make me back on my heels or in the neutral position. So what will happen is the ankle strategy is basically an inverted pendulum position, in which you see that the distal muscle acts first, then the proximal muscle. Herein the gastrocsoleus will contract, the hams will contract, and the rectus spinal group of muscle will contract to bring me to a neutral position when from a forward position. That is when I am on my toes. And when I am on my heels, my strategy will be the tibialis anterior quadriceps and the abdominal muscle will act so that I come back to my normal position. So this is how the activation of muscles takes place, and by then I can know whether my anchor strategy is working or not. There is another strategy. That means if the posterior sway is more, the body start using the hip strategy. What is a hip strategy? It is a compound pendular position in which the proximal muscle activate first, then the distal muscle. Herein, if I forward bend and if the forward perturbation is more or the forward sway is more, then what will happen is my rectus spinae will activate first, then my hamstring will work, and then my gastrocsoleus will work. That is opposite to the ankle strategy. And if it is moving, I am leaning backwards, and then my rectus or my abdominal muscle will act first, then the quads muscle, and then the tibialis anterior group of muscle is going to work in the last. That means this is a hip strategy. By perturbations we can come to know which kind of a strategy is there, and the person is using, and whether the activation of muscle is right or not. Herein, distribution of weight is there. Can you see whether weight is properly distributed or not? We come to know about this. Whether the right side foot weight distribution is even, where a strategy is his anterior to posterior movement is fine, medial to lateral movement is fine, with the right side medial to lateral movement is fine, and then it tells us more about the balance, anterior to posterior and medial to lateral balance is there or not, whether the center of gravity is passing correctly, then only the center of mass will be just anterior to the sacro S2 joint. Can you see this S2 joint just anteriorly pass kar raha hai? This also tells us whether the center of gravity or the line of gravity is passing evenly through the body, then only the balance can be maintained. If it is not evenly passing through the body, then this balance will be affected. This is as simple as it can be. So the weight distribution should be there, and the line of gravity should pass in between. This is also checked when the person is standing on the force platform, and then it is also, you can check the postural sway, that is the forward, backward, medial, lateral. A real-time feedback can be given to the person, and he can correct. The persons with balance issues, the persons with have a problem, we ask them to first stand with both leg support, they with eyes open, then in eyes closed, then in single limb support, that is right limb support is given, then eye open, eye close, and left limb support, eye open, eye close. We also see for what kind of a drop is there in the pelvis, with a kind of EMG sensors are attached to it around the pelvis, and we can also tell whether the weight shifting of adductors and abductor group of muscle is there or not. So this is a very good method of balance analysis, and it gives you a real-time feedback whether a balance is improving or not, and what kind of a sensory problem the person is having or in weight distribution. It helps in activation of these muscles by a good biofeedback. This is a very good biofeedback for the patient. Fine. So you can write something about this force platform and how you can use it for the balance analysis. This is just 3 images, but I wanted to show you that it can be explained in this manner also. Fine. The first image, the second is the ground reaction force, and the third one. Now this is the movement which is very much important, which we did in our practical class, which was counter movement vertical jump. Now counter movement vertical jump, though I had a video in this, but I have tried to put the photograph only. Now I want to tell you the stages of the counter movement vertical jump, which is first is the quiet phase, the second is the unweighing phase, the third is the braking phase, the fourth is the propulsion phase, the fifth is the flight phase, the sixth is the landing phase, and the seventh is the stabilization phase. Now this is first is the quiet phase. Quiet phase is a phase where there is no action acting on the body. When there is no action acting on the body, what will happen is the person is just standing and the weight of the person has been taken. No force calculation takes place. And if we see corresponding to this on a graph, force and time graph, this is in a straight line. This is just a straight line where no forces are acting on the body. Okay? It is just a straight line graph which can be seen. The second phase is a phase that is called as unweighing phase. Now unweighing phase is a phase where the muscle or the gravity brake comes into action and pulls the body in a squatting position. In a squatting position. Now this, you understand what is a force movement jump graph? This is a graph which is displayed on the computer. Fine. Now the second, I am talking about the second phase. The second phase is said to be the unweighing phase. The weight unweighing phase. Why? It is an unbalanced force is acting, only the gravity is acting and no muscle action is taking place. So it is an unweighing phase where you can see a negative graph, that is a yellow color. Negative graph will be seen, and here no muscle, this is a yellow color, negative graph is seen, or negative curve is seen, where the weight is been shifted. That is, the gravity is pulling and the weight is going down. Fine, the weight is moving down. The next phase is when the muscles eccentrically contract and they hold the downward deceleration of the body, or the acceleration of the body, that is holds, that is it is holding that movement. So the first time muscles contract, that is why a positive wave is formed. This is called as the red side of this curve is the braking phase, where the muscles comes into contraction and they counteract the gravity motion. The gravity which was pulling the body down in a squatting position, now the muscles come into action. That is why it is called that is called braking phase. And a positive curve is seen. A force tension is first time detected only when the muscle comes into action. That is the braking phase. Fine, the braking phase. The first was the quiet phase, the second was the unweighing phase, the third is the braking phase. Now the more is the braking phase, the better will be the propulsion phase. Now the muscles over here holds the gravity and it prepares itself through a concentric contraction, prepares itself for a propulsion phase. The better the force, the quicker the force is generated, the better will be the propulsion phase. You can see in the propulsion phase a green color part of the graph, where you can see the concentric contraction of this muscle is taking place, and there the more is the contraction, the more the whole the time is there, the better will be the flight time, the better will be the jump. Fine, this is very much important. Now you can see there is weight, which is the propulsion phase is there. First was the unweighing phase, the fourth figure is about the propulsion phase. Now as soon as the propulsion phase takes place, is over, the person is in air. There is no contact with the force platform. So that means this is called as a flight time. There is no contact with the force platform. Fine, so this is called as the flight time. And you can see here in the curve, there is nothing in the curve. The first one is a negative curve, the second is the positive curve. Herein there is no contact of the foot to the force plate, so there is no curve is there. Fine. Now this is it is important. You can see with these arrows the unweighing phase, the braking phase, the propulsion phase, and the flight time. It totally depends upon the laws, Newton's law. The better the force, the better will be the propulsion. That is, more the force, better will be the propulsion phase. Okay, so it is according to the laws of the Newton's law of motion. Fine, and you can see over here is that it has ended up in the landing phase. Now what happens in the landing phase? As soon as the person lands on the this area, on the foot, there is lots and lots of load which acts on the joint. So there is a combination of load which is acting on the joint. That is why it is called as landing phase, where we have to teach the person to land whether on the foot or whether on the toes, so that he is able to take the load. The body is able to take all the kind of deformation forces which are acting on it. From this phase, you can see there are three squatting phases. One is the unweighing phase, the second is the propulsion phase, and the last is a stabilization phase. Okay, so these three are very much important. Now you can see the loading. Again the graph is there where the person is landing. A peak can be seen because the muscle is comes into action again, and once the load, they are basically joint and connective tissues and everything is, they are basically taking the load. They are acting, and the forces, deformation forces are acting, and they are taking the load. The last stage is a stabilization phase, the phase where the body has already stabilized itself from the deformation force. The body has itself stabilized himself from the forces, that is the deformation forces, and the person is in again a squat position. You can see the three squat position, how they are in a different stages of counter movement, vertical jump. So these are the 7 stages of counter movement vertical jump, and there is how this movement are seen on a graph, the force time graph curve, how this curve is there, how we need to interpret this curve, where these curves should be there, where there should be a eccentric contraction, there can be a eccentric contraction, and there can be a concentric contraction of the muscles takes place, where what is the flight time, it should be calculated well, how the gravitation force is acting, how the Newton force is acting, how the action reaction forces are acting. We need to see over here, if these forces are not balanced, this curve will not be the same, and every person the curve will be different. Why? If they are uneven landing is taking place, the sprain of ankle or any injury to the connective tissue can be possible. So you can tell to the person whether to land on foot or whether to land on forefoot, whether to land on toes, whether to land on heel, depending on the how you are going to counter or balance the stresses acting on the joint. Fine. So this is a normal curve, where the curve is need to be studied with each person, with each cases, with each individual. It need to be, if you know the normal curve, we can evenly study what is the normal time and how it can be improved. This need to be improved. So you see, this is a quiet phase, unweighing phase, braking phase, propulsion phase, flight phase, landing response. Now in the quiet phase there is no muscle activity, as well as in the unweighing phase also there is no muscle activity. The muscle activity only starts when there is breaking point, the eccentric contraction takes place, and when there is a propulsive phase, then concentric contraction takes place. As soon as the concentric contraction takes place, the person is in flight phase, that is, it is in the flight aerial phase, and when the aerial phase is over, the person comes into landing and stabilization phase. So this is how the curve is there. Now this curve should be clear to you. You should be able to explain this curve very nicely to us, so that you can understand what is the response in this squat, counter movement vertical jump, what happens in this. So you can explain and you can tell to the sports athlete that what area need to be, the aerial time should be good or the landing response should be good, and this is very important. Fine. Gait analysis. Now in order to study the gait analysis, keeping in mind force platform and EMG sensors, we are basically studying the kinetics of gait. Okay? And it is very much important because it is there in your syllabus, and let us start with this. Now in this we basically study the gait cycle, the stance phase. The gait cycle, we all know that the stance phase is 60% and the swing phase is 40%, and the gait cycle consists of from the heel strike to, it goes of heel strike to mid stance to heel off to toe off and everything.